She was red with tears and tried to embrace, but I couldn't go there. I need to know if she was having relations with her Bali husband. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the next craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled Annual Girls Trip to Bali, WTF. And a shout out to Xavier sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy. Sounds like he's in his 50s, been married to his wife a long time, 3 kids, 3 adult sons, that type of thing. And lo and behold, he finds out that his wife, who's been doing an annual trip to Bali with her girlfriends, girl trip, for the last 10 years, finds out that they're not just there to lay on the beach or the pool and soak up the sun for a week and have drinks and all that. No, they're doing way much more with Bali guys. And how this guy handles things, and definitely how she reacts when he finds out what she's been up to. I'll be going to go over here, guys, just to show you about the danger of these girls' trips and all that. And they, like I said, aren't just about them laying on the beach and nothing more. They're laying in other places. And you find this out, you got to end things and move on. Because why would anybody be with that type of person? End of freaking story here. And, of course, our guy handles this accordingly. So, definitely a good one here. So it starts off, says here, we've had a dead bedroom for years, and it's been so bad that now even I have lost my libido. Right there in the first sentence. Dead bedroom for years. Well, she ain't getting it at home, she's getting it someplace else. For the last 10 years, save for the virus, my wife and the women in our friends group, post-menopausal, go on a girls' trip to Bali for 1 week in August. Their mantra is, what happens in Bali, stays in Bali. It's their shared joke whenever we're all together as couples and the topic of Bali comes up. Smack to him and all the husbands for letting that slide. Are you kidding me? Bali? That's a long flight. I'm sure that ain't cheap. And they're going there for a whole week and they're just, what happens in Bali stays in Bali. Well, he's about to see. The first year my wife went, she told me how they would get to get a scooter and ride for peanuts down the beach and back, and that the riders would try and chat them up and want to come back with them to Australia to live. Okay, they're from Australia. It was told in all good humor and just a flirt attempt with a mature female tourist. After that, upon return, I would get just a brief summary of relaxation and dining for a week. So you got the trickle truth. This year, I got a call from one of the other husbands to say that his wife had pocket dialed him that night, and that she was unaware that their phone was eavesdropping on their conversations that the ladies were excitedly having, in what he thought was one of their rooms. He could hear them comparing notes about these men that they'd been hooking up with, and by the sounds of it, these men were annual regulars, and they were all involved. There you go. So whether it's here in the United States or Australian women, it's the same thing. Girls' trips every year. I guess clearly what happens in Bali stayed in Bali. And this guy finds out that the wife's been cheating every year for 10 years on this trip. I took on board what he relayed. That then he asked that I not call to confront my wife about this until he had spoken to the other husbands and we made a plan. My heart sank, but I was also questioning if he had really been able to hear so much, particularly if they were all talking as excitedly as he described. I felt there was a chance he was misinterpreting things. Bro, I don't think he's misinterpreting things. I just think that you don't want to hear this. Each night my wife would ring me at around 10 p.m. to touch base and share goodnight wishes. That night when she rang, she sounded no different, and I dearly wanted to ask her specifics, but I just said, "How was your day going?" She said they did their usual routine to the pool, drinks, beach, shop, lunch, siesta dinner, and drinks, then back to their rooms. Okay, great. Yeah, she left out a few things, some Bali, Chad, and Tyrone's servicing them. The next day, the husbands had a group call, and one husband, Ted, folded and spilled the beans when he could hear the anger and hostility building. He knew much more than the rest of us and told us what that week was all about. Basically, it was a cheat week, and for his part, he was okay with it. Yeah, we'll smack to that jackass Ted. One of these husbands has known all along, and he hasn't shared with the rest of the guys. Probably this guy's a cheater himself, or they're married, but he's done his thing, she does hers, and probably to keep her from divorcing him and taking his money is keeping quiet about this whole thing. What a scumbag. Yes, they had organized the same locals they had distilled down to over the years as their quote-unquote Bali husbands who would take care of them for a week. Ted said that not all the women slept with their Bali husbands, but they all partook in intimate massages, cuddling, and kissing, as well as dancing and partying. That's cheating to me. He implored us to see it from their perspective as a release with no ill intent to us. Smack! Okay, Ted the cuck. Are you kidding me? Implore us to see it from their perspective here? If these are all husbands that are loyal to their wives and haven't strayed and cheated, let alone this guy telling the story has a dead bedroom, you bet your ass he has a lot to have an issue with this. And see it from their perspective? No. I was enraged telling them that I've had years of sexual neglect just to find out that it had been reserved for some Bali bunk. He goes, they could have given us STDs. There you go. Ted was quick to defend and said that women that did sleep with men mutually committed to safe practices as they wanted nothing less. We all wanted to know which of the wives went that far, but he would not say, and that he was unsure. Smack! I'd be like, Ted, I'm coming over to your house right now. You better be awake. You better open that door, or you and I are going to have a major problem. And Ted is going to squeal as to everything he knows because he can tell they're pissed. What a piece of shit. And he's justifying this, that it's okay. Then, in my amazement, another husband, Greg, volunteered that it was karma for him, and he had cheated on his wife due to their dead bedroom issues, and I suspect that she had known but never confronted him. So, chicken or the egg situation. Was Greg cheating and then she's now doing this in retaliation? Or was he cheating because it was a dead bedroom because she was hooking up with dudes in Bali every year? And I have a hard time believing that Bali was just the only time of the year this was going on. Another husband put a spin on it, well, downplaying it in a racist fashion, dehumanizing the Bali men. His thoughts were good luck to them if that's what they wanted. Seems like he was no saint either. That left the remaining 3 husbands, myself included, stunned. So much for the brotherhood, so we decided to meet after work the next day. I would have nothing to do with these motherfuckers after this. And I think also these guys deserve a talking to in a dark alley, if you know what I mean. Bros before hoes, for God's sakes here. He says here, it seems like one of the cucks gave the girls a heads up as soon as after the group call ended, and my phone rang with my wife in tears, same for the others. One of these guys freaking tipped off the women. Now they definitely deserve a butt whooping. I told her to save her breath, and we will talk in 2 days' time when she returns. Good. Click. Or how about, don't come back. Don't come home. Now wait till you see what happens when she comes home. We never did have our after-work meetup, as there was now no point. I kept reliving my marriage and the reactions of the 3 cucks unable to comprehend their meek acceptance of the situation. Ted had asked us when defending the girls, what did we really expect of them? Men always played in boys' trips, according to him, and I can see that some people I knew did not, and certainly not me. That Ted jerk-off is freaking defending them and saying, well, what do guys do on the guys' trips? Guys, for years, when I was living in Massachusetts, I'd go on my friend who was married and a whole bunch of other dudes that were married and kids would get together 1 year over Columbus Day weekend up in New Hampshire camping. It was like a 3-day weekend, and a couple of the guys flew in from different parts of the country as their annual tradition, and I was always invited along. And guess what? These were just bros going on big hikes and drinking beer and cooking steaks, nothing more. There wasn't cheating with girls on the other side of the campground, stuff like that. So guys can go on guys' trips and hang out with the bros, camping, hiking, fishing, whatever, and not cheat on their wives. By the time Saturday came and my wife came home, I was still pissed off but conflicted, as part of me was happy she was home. Smack! Why would you be happy she's home? The reason you should be happy she's home is that you can start the process of the divorce. She was red with tears and tried to embrace, but I couldn't go there. I need to know she was sleeping with her Bali husband. Tried to embrace him. Before she could talk, I asked her how could she treat me so bad, yet go F some stranger, a young one, exploited third world man, and that she and the others were no better than the old bastards that go to Asia to hook up with young girls or even kids. She implored me to listen to her and harden up at my comments. I kept on going, and then she yelled at me to shut up and listen. Sugar muffin, sweetie pie, you have no place to yell at me now. 10 years of this bullshit. She told me that yes, it was cheating. Well, there you go. We have nothing else to talk about. Have a nice day. I'm going to meet with the lawyer. She claims that she was not one to sleep with her guide. It was the three wives of the cucks, according to her. Yes, she kissed and cuddled and got daily full body massages with happy endings. Well, that's cheating to me. Then she accused me, here we go, of getting the same at Asian massage shops. I deny that I got happy endings and point out that I claimed those massages on health insurance, so there was no way S-word favors were involved. So immediately she's justifying her actions, saying, well, you get massages, and obviously you're cheating. Again, no, not because there's some pretty, it's a stereotype, but no, he was not cheating. She says the guides took them to the beaches and to the shops and were treated as servants more than partners. She agreed they exploited them in the process. She said it was just some fun and titillation and that I could go to hell if she couldn't let her hair down at her age. Oh, for God's sakes. I point out that her tears before were theater, and now she was gaslighting me about my reactions. Of course she's gaslighting you. And by the way, guys, see what I talk about here in these stories? This isn't just stuff that goes on here in the United States. This is over in Australia. Same thing. It's just to show you that men are men, women are women, all around the world, and they do the same things. She claims that she is upset that we found out, and they knew it would hurt us, and for that she is remorseful. Yeah, I can tell you're real sorry, honey. You've been doing it for 10 years, probably longer. But she's not taking a backward step about the Bali trip being her time. Can't they just go there for a week and lay out at the pool, go to the beach, have some drinks and dinners, see some sights, and that's it? Do they all have to fuck around with other guys? Apparently that's too much to ask. I said, okay, then we can now have an open marriage or no marriage at all. Two can play this game. Hey, she's been having an open marriage for 10 years or longer. He just hasn't known about it. And remember, guys, in the beginning, they've had the dead bedroom. He hasn't gotten any in all these years. This is why they're not getting it from you. They're getting it someplace else. She was not having it. Lots of yelling and harsh words said. She's been cheating for 10 years or longer. What do you mean yelling? Who is she? But remember, guys, probably her perception of her husband, whether it's accurate or not, is that he's weak, and she can gaslight and yell at him enough, eventually he'll cave, be like, okay, and that'll be the end of it. Nope. I went out the door telling her I was off to start the new arrangement. She said, don't come home then. How about she leaves? I've been sleeping in my son's flat ever since. Even he and his two brothers think I'm overreacting, so I told them to let their partners join the Bali group. Smack to the sons. And also, why did you leave? She's been cheating on you for 10 years. You got proof of this. Your whole world's imploding. Send her out. Now, he's in Australia, and for what I have gathered and what I've been told in the comments from Australian dudes, that it's just as bad over here in terms of guys getting the shaft, even though their women are getting the shaft. I've been a good husband, and my wife has been a good wife. Besides PIV intimacy, we have always shown deep and emotional affection with each other and have been each other's rock. The things she claims she did in Bali are exactly what I do for her and she for me. What am I not seeing? He also adds a little update here. He says, my rant yesterday saw a lot of comments, and to those that think I'm a cuck or this is fake, go fuck yourselves. My headspace is a mess right now, and I can't process all this. I left the house because it was the safest thing to do to avoid violence and keep me out of trouble. Okay, that was smart. I was a boxer, and if I lost it, I would be effed. Yeah, if anybody that has had training in any kind of self-defense or martial arts, any of you black belts out there, I'm a black belt too. If you get into something, definitely where you live, immediately they're going to say, hey, you were trained professional, or you had expert training, whatever they want to, or you're military, former military cop, whatever, and you've had that kind of training. That's going to come back to haunt you if it is seen as you or being the aggressor or something like that, even in self-defense. I've never ever hit a gal, but I could feel myself losing self-control. If I were to see Ted right now, he would feel my pain. My adult sons are great and doing their best to keep me calm. We are a family of hotheads. We are not stupid. I will take a break from this post because the comments are amping me up at this time when I need to take stock with a clear head. It's my fault for posting. Not sure what I thought would happen. So that was the end of the whole thing. And hey, I feel bad for this guy. And the worst thing is, not only has his wife been cheating all these years and doing this crap, But his sons were like, what they said. And he's found out these so-called friends of his, half of them knew about this and kept it quiet all these years. So it's time for this guy to get a clean slate here. And I think it's funny. He's like, okay, I'm opening the marriage. And she's like freaking out and throwing a fucking tantrum. She probably went full Tusken Raider on him. She went from English to Tusken Raider in like 2 seconds. What he needs to do is go to a lawyer and find out his options, good, bad, or ugly, as I always say. And since he's been married to her for a very long time, and, it's likely probably not going to go well for him. But what's worse? Get a divorce, take the hit, and obviously have to start over, or stay with her all these years and be basically the cuck. And she knows she wins, just so, financially. Now, it sounds like his kids are all out of the house. They're all adult kids, so at least over here, there's no child support anymore. But yeah, she's going to get alimony and probably the house and all that. But I'd rather, if it was me, and I know myself how to be, and a lot of you guys would know yourselves, better to divorce, take the hit, and start over. Because a man has it in him to start over. Again, men are the same all around the world. We don't need a whole lot, most of us, to be happy. It's the women that want the bigger houses and the fancier cars and all the shit. They're the ones statistically more likely to piss away money on bullshit to feel better and make themselves look good. Don't get me wrong, there are guys dumb with money. I know some, but overall, men are better with that. Doesn't take a lot to make us happy. Generally, we need silence. And so you can get a place that's a little off the beaten path with some silence, as well as food. And find out his options, good, bad, or ugly, take the hit, and then have a reset and move on. Cut all these jerk-offs that were so-called friends out of his life completely. Cut her out of his life and start over. And who cares if he's obviously in his 50s or something like that? So what? He's got a lot of life to live, but stay with her, he cannot do that. Now, a few comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says here, not the a-hole. There's nothing else to see here. She's been cheating on you. There's no saving grace. Nothing is going to make you forget that. If you stay together, you'll be resentful to the end of your days. She justifies her actions by saying that men do it, so it's fine. But she knows you're loyal. She simply doesn't want to feel guilt. She knows this guy's loyal, but she doesn't care. Another one. Bro, regardless of the cheating, and if you can move past that, you said yourself, she's going to a third world country and exploiting the young guys, treating them as servants. She's treating them like subhuman toys and seems not to be very remorseful about it beyond accepting it. Well, I'm sure these guys in Bali don't feel like they're being used. I'm sure they're enjoying every minute of it because they're not just banging foreign chicks, even if they're older. They're also getting money out of it. So I don't think they're feeling too exploited. This is all while you're laying there and then tries to turn around and hurt you. Even if you were getting quote-unquote massages, are those women then following you around acting like a wife or slave? That is way different. How do you get past that? What kind of person thinks that way for years? Another one. He says, holy shit. The fact that so many people in your lives accept this arrangement as nothing but harmless fun is wild. Dead bedroom, but she goes off to Bali to have SCX with her Bali husband. Let's be real, she's having SCX with him. I would be absolutely livid even if she was 100% apologetic. She has the sheer audacity to try and spin this as a you problem. I felt myself getting more and more angry as I read your story. I'm sorry, OP, but your wife is off her effing rockers if she thinks what she's doing is okay. Unbelievable. Deep down, she knows what she's doing is wrong, but, the old joke about the gals and accountability, but she doesn't want to admit that, so she wants to twist it around to justify her actions here. She knows this guy's been cheating on her or the family. And one more, this guy is being sarcastic when he says, you're the a-hole. How dare you not let this poor woman let her hair down at her age? And even worse, ask for an open marriage so you aren't a cuck and can enjoy yourself too. The audacity. And he was just joking. It says, the only thing that worries me is that you'll actually ask yourself if you're the a-hole. I'm assuming you simply want the validation and to share, and that's very understandable. She's been cheating on you for 10 years and somehow managed to make it even worse with the way she reacted to the conversation. I don't even see the point of you talking to her about it. Initiate a divorce, move out, and start dating, having fun, and doing your own thing, not the a-hole. Amen. So yes, talk to the lawyer, find out your options, and I'm sure they ain't going to be pretty, but you know what? Freedom has a price. Freedom ain't free. And move on. And if it means you work a little bit longer, but you're going to be okay. And if your kids have a problem with it, you know what? Tough shit. They're grown-ass adults. They're boys. They're going to learn a lesson. Because think about it. He has sons. What are his sons going to learn about being a man if they find out their dad, they find out their mom's been cheating on their dad for all these years, and he just lets it go, right? That's going to raise them to be the same way. But if they see their dad's not going to tolerate that crap, that might help them realize, you know what, I'm not going to be that way either. You know, and they should see their mom for who she is. So yeah, he's not the a-hole, obviously, and good for him for saying, hey, we're having open marriage now. But after he ends it with her, he needs to take some time for himself, work on himself and all that, not just jump back into another relationship or anything ridiculous like that. So I wish this guy the best. We're probably gonna have some updates here, so if you guys see one before I do, let me know and I'll definitely post the story. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.